This program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Well, welcome into a very exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Starch. Joining me today from the Serpent Mound Star Knowledge Spring Equinox Peace Summit, Thomas Johnson. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
That's a mouthful, but it's an important mouthful. All of those things are very important to what we're doing next weekend. I plan on traveling out to be with you. And we are, I've met your wife, Terry, we have a mutual friend, Nikki Zephyr. Well, a lot of mutual friends now, but I met some of them out at the Star Knowledge Conference here in South Dakota last November on 11/11. And now I plan on coming to see even more and rejoin my Star family out at Serpent Mound. So I want you to share a little bit about, the event first, and then we can chat a little bit about, your connection to the area after that. So go ahead and we'll plug the event and what all is going on, and then we'll talk a little Star Knowledge. How about that?
Yeah, well, wonderful. The event started in 2010 here, and it was with my wife, Terry Revere, and Chief Golden Light Eagle, and his, I'm assuming his brother came along for one of those at that time, Blue Star Eagle. But anyway, I met them all up at Woodland Altars, which is where we have the event now. And it's at the convergence of two fault lines in an asteroid crater. So the setting is just energetically, you couldn't get a better place to do it.
Yeah, I don't know that it gets more powerful than that.
It's like a natural vortex. It is. And so a lot of energies, it's on a grid line. That's something we'll emphasize at the event. But we bring in speakers from all over the world, and Terry's motto is all nations, all races, we're all related. And so we try to be all inclusive, not political or biased. We're all on the same page. And
well, here the Oglala Lakota Sioux say Mitikuye Oyasi. And I've been learning a lot from Chief Golden Light Eagle's daughter, Nikki Zephyr, and spending some time out at Sweat with them on the mountain out there where they do their sun dance. And they actually blessed me. And I was the firekeeper for our last session out there a few weeks ago. So feeling very blessed to be part of this Star family, and feeling the calling to come to Serpent Mound next weekend. I thought the kids had state wrestling that weekend. It turns out I've been blessed again, and it's the following weekend. So if the boy makes it this weekend after regionals, I won't have to miss anything. So
wonderful. Well, we have a lot of guest speakers coming in. Like I say, they're from all over the earth. When Chief used to do them with us, we were kind of wondering where some of them were from, because he's into the Pleiades and the star relatives. So some of those events we went to, there were people there. I had no idea who they were, but it was just interesting because they're all welcome. And, there's no drama. It's just a wonderful time. And it's, like I said, it's situated on a fault line, which raises the energy, the vibration, if you will. And I think that's all part of Star Knowledge. Raise the vibration.
Well, that is one of our universal laws, right? Of sound and vibration. And I've worked my way through the book one time now, reading it, and now I'm going back through and to read it out loud because I know the power that vibration has. Thomas, a little bit about me. I'm a songwriter, and a guitar player and a singer. And that's how I got into podcasting. I thought last year I was quitting my day job to be a rock star, and it turns out I'm actually much better at just talking all day. So,
Good.
So we started this podcast, and we just have conversations, and it's been a really wild ride to then. So my plan is to come out with my microphones and with some of my equipment and to record some conversations with maybe some of our speakers a little more off the stage and off the cuff. So trying to come in and to just be a fly on the wall, but with a microphone to kind of capture as much of the event as possible, that as allowed. So
Right. Well, just about everybody there is used to that. There'll be some ceremonies where they don't want you to record, of course. But if you want to go into what the opening ceremonies are, it starts at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. And there'll be an opening ceremony by Charles Albaum, Walks Brave, Bordeaux. At 10:30, Santi Luke Witt, Okalala Lakota. He'll be giving a prayer and wisdom and prayer songs. After that, at 11:30, Shiva Natajar Allen. I can't pronounce that middle name, but he comes out and he's implementing spirituality into your life. At noon, we have a Oya prayer. 1 o'clock, Linda Ivory, I think you've met her. She's going to be teaching the star knowledge in the 13 moon calendar of the star altar. Those are the teachings by Chief Golden Light Eagle. And 2:30, Debbie Carey Brown will be talking about life, death, and butterflies. That's an interesting one. 33:33, Pookie Lee, heart-centered living and a ripple effect of love. At 5, Katya Harris, and talking about eclipses, serpents, and star ancestors. 6 o'clock, Cosmic Spirit, which is a spoken word music. Some people call it rap, but we don't use that because of insurance purposes. It's kind of funny, but you say one thing, and okay, you say something, oh, no, you can't do that. So, and after that, Zach Koons, he's a singer, songwriter, poet. Santi Luke Witt after that, and then music by Lawrence Green, Rashad. He'll be doing a community drumming, and then at 10, Bear Medicine Altar with Lawrence Green. So that's just the first day, and we have 3 days of this, and every day is different, of course, and it's just a wonderful host of people. And every time we do them, there's different people that come in from different places, and they're all messengers. They're giving us what they know, and that's the beauty of it. It's all about, it's really the spoken word. You would think it'd be a religion, but it's the religion of the indigenous people. It's just their word, and I think that means more than anything that's written. And that's what most of this conference is. There's not a lot of written stuff going on other than just original people talking about their knowledge.
And I couldn't agree more. There's power in our words. There's power in the spoken word. That's why I pray out loud. And I think I encourage everyone to pray out loud and to let that be known. To pray in your heart is one thing, but when you speak that, it has so much more power because of the vibration. Right. And I've always believed in like I said, I'm a songwriter, I'm a singer. I know the power of music and sound. And now that I've become a podcaster in the last, year, that I know it even more. I say, this is how God is healing us. When I have conversations and deep conversations with people, I have a show called Get Better Together, where I share my story with others and to get their story. Little about me. 7 years ago, Thomas, I was in a prison cell. I made a long list of bad choices for many years, and it finally culminated in me having to make a choice to come back from Mexico. I was there for about a year on the run. Had a child down there, got pregnant with another one, had a child living at home in the Black Hills at the time as well. And I couldn't destroy their lives because my life had been destroyed. And I had a big problem with substances, and I had a problem with anger and sadness that I carried with me. And only through sharing my story, and I had a very powerful session with a young man this morning on a podcast, and that it's my calling to help these younger generations of young men to not walk the path that I did. I was in and out of jail cells and trouble from the time I was 18 years old. And I never stopped to think of the damage that I was doing to not just myself, but to the generations coming after me. And, my daughter was born on the day that I went to prison officially from the jail, and just a very powerful message of hope that I want to share. I got sentenced to 8 years with some time suspended off that after I'd already been in for about 8 months. And I ended up doing just over 2 years total because I started making the right choices. And in
Yeah.
making the right choices, God blessed me. And I don't say God in the typical Christian way of saying it. I just don't creator, source, right? It
Yeah.
just I was blessed to continue to do that. Leaving prison, I had left with a trade. I learned how to weld while I was in there. I also left with a friendship of a correctional officer there named Danielle, who now is my wife
Huh?
and is raising my two younger children with me.
Wow.
And it's been nothing but blessings since then. And not that I didn't try to slide back, Thomas. I made every attempt to go back, and not that I went back to the hard drugs like I was doing the methamphetamines, the cocaine, or pretty much whatever was out there. It didn't matter much. But in going inside, and having sobriety and going inside of myself to discover why it was that I was making these decisions. That's what's
Mhm.
helped me heal, and to now be a lighthouse for others to gravitate to. And that's why my spirituality is so important to me. That's why Sweat Lodge is so important to me, and being part of that community here locally. But that cat's got some serious. Is that a bunny? Holy
Yeah,
buckets.
no, that's a Manx kitty cat.
That thing jumped right. That was
Yeah,
three
it's a
times
great,
its body height. That was
crazy
incredible.
kitty
Sorry.
cat.
I got
Sometimes he
distracted.
knocks things down, so
Right. I bet. But that is why, I have my altar here. I pray every day, and I found great comfort in the words of Chief Golden Light Eagle, and the things that I know he has spoken that have been written down in this book.
Mm,
I'm only on 11:11 now. I'm looking forward to diving into 12:12 and
mm,
eventually to 13:13.
mhm,
And you call her Luna. She's Linda to me, but
mm,
it's been a blessing to get on their Patreon page, and to learn more and to feel a connection with that. I've always felt a connection to the moon and the stars, and now I have words and names for the beings that I've seen. I'd like to share a story with you, if I may.
sure.
It was probably a month and a half ago now, maybe a little more. And I was on the altar, and I've been going through this phase of growth with our podcast and different things. And how does it make money? I took on a substantial amount of debt to not go to work every day and work at the, $25 an hour job or whatever value they assess to me. And I needed for this to turn into something that provided sustenance for us. And I prayed for time travel, Thomas, and I prayed hard for it. And when I walked out that morning, in my backyard, in between my studio and my home, and I looked to the eastern sky, 7 light beings came from the darkest part of the eastern sky and descended towards the eastern horizon, one after another. I believe that they were the Pleiades, the last one being the white buffalo calf woman, if my memory serves me correct from these books. And I have been eternally blessed since that day. And
Mm,
since that day, my life has gone on a straight upward trajectory of achieving everything that we set out to do, even just a short year ago. So
wow.
not only do I believe in here, but I believe in here. And as my friend Wolfgang says, he's from Austria, they don't say a gut feeling, they say you feel it in your belly button. And I think I like that a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I can see it in you. I don't even know you, but I can feel your enthusiasm and your spirit, your vibe. You're very upbeat, and you're 100% into what we're doing, and it's a wonderful feeling. We get people here constantly because we have a rock shop right next to Serpent Mound, and people come here wondering why they're here, and they're usually on some kind of different journey. Something drastic has happened in their life, or they were on drugs and they're trying to get off, or there's a death or divorce. There's all kinds of things that drive people to here, and it's all about new beginnings. That's what Serpent Mound is. And it was by the star relatives, or what we call the sun worshipers, back 2,000 years ago, that built it, and for the purpose of honoring the solstice and equinoxes and the lunar movements and also constellations. So it's an archaeoastronomy site, and it's just a powerful place. It's inside of an asteroid crater, and people just they start a new life basically when they come. And it was to think that it was built by our star relatives, and it's still there today, speaking. And of course, the powers that be have different ideas about it. They want to portray a certain negative or narrative. I say it's a negative narrative, actually, but they're not 100% on board with what we do. But we still send people over and pray with them over there and do ceremony. And it's a wonderful place to live by. And it's really opened my eyes up to the amount of people that are in distress in this world. And when you see it every day, you go, wow, there's a lot going on right now. A lot of, I would say, ascension. A lot of people are trading in what they had to get something different. And just like yourself, you found the light, and now you're studying it, and you feel 1,000,000% better, I'm sure, physically as well as mentally. And you get clarity. You open up that third eye and you start seeing things as they are. And I think that's what Star Knowledge and all this has been about, is showing people all the different ways that have been taught around the universe. And it ends up here eventually, and we get to hear it, and it's just wonderful.
I think I sought spirituality growing up, being a fan of the Grateful Dead and psychedelic music that obviously had an affinity for psychedelic drugs. Not a lot of them available in South Dakota. So when I when I moved to the West Coast as a 19, 20-year-old man, and I call them the fun drugs. That's probably not right, but some of it medicine, right? The mushrooms, the cannabis and different things that I do believe that they have a purpose as well. But ingesting upon that the MDMA and some of the other things that just were depleting my soul, and obviously using way too much, not using them in ceremony at all.
Right.
And to even now, where I have a medical marijuana card, but even just in the last 10 days, I have stopped using marijuana. And it brings me back to something that Nikki says to me, is she says that, well, we get high on something else. And
Sure.
I
Yeah.
tell you what, I believe her now.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That reservation out there is God. To me, it's paradise. And I'm sure the people that are living there, some think that, some don't. Some of them are still in despair, but to go
Thomas,
up.
I'm right there with you. That spot on the hill, I don't know if you made it out to where they do Sundance and they have their sweat lodge, but
Yeah.
there is a powerful spirit there with the Missouri River right below you. The
Mhm.
last when we were out there, it was the new moon of the Eagle Nation. Thomas, when I came around one of the first turns, because I come along the river bottom from the east. And I got right down to the river bottom, and at that first turn, a giant bald eagle lifted up off the fence post, and it was close enough. I felt like I could touch it. And I think I did touch it with the extended spirit arm. And
Mhm.
we had a very powerful ceremony up there, the first one in many months because of the cold and different things. And there's a small group of us that are out here full time. I'm only about a half hour east of Nikki,
Mhm.
as the crow flies or the eagle flies, would you? And it's a blessing, like I said, for me to be able to be accepted by them and to be able to learn these things that were gathered, by Chief Golden Light Eagle and many others. And I'm learning. I am an infant in this and just beginning to learn, but I think she recognized in me a great power. I mean, she met me at a concert for a hip hop artist that I had put together. I don't know how she found me, right? The stars brought us together, and I just dug in deep. And after meeting so many more at the 11/11 conference this November,
Mhm.
and I had not planned on attending the Peace Summit. I thought that the timing for me wasn't going to work out, but as soon as I found out that it did, and I'm walking underneath the brilliant light of Creator, and the calling, the spirit is calling, and I will lay down whatever needs to be done to be there and to be with my star family and to experience the power of the place that you call home.
Hmm. It is, and it's home to so many people that we don't know, and the spirits for thousands of years, they're still here. And when you think about, I've had elders come in and say, they're everywhere. Don't you see them? And they go like, yeah. I don't see spirits like other people do, but I see the UAVs and the paranormal stuff, and then we got Sasquatch here too. Like they're everywhere. And so that's another draw. And it's just so many people from different walks of life will end up here eventually. It's like a bucket list. And then you get the ones that are here for another reason, and that's to learn. And that's what we're here for. We're the messengers. And we love to share information and bring people together. So that's the beauty of it.
And that is exactly why I am coming out with some of my equipment, is to learn, and not just to learn, but then to share that knowledge. And I think that is our great duty, and not just with the ones that can be there physically, but to continue to teach long after. I know many of these people have their own YouTube pages and are putting this knowledge out there. Walking Crow, Sacred Drum Medicine, became a friend after the conference there. I know he's having a little bit of difficulty seeing himself there now because things haven't quite gone to plan, but I won't let that happen. So
Oh, good, good.
we're doing what we can. He's quite a ways away from me in the opposite direction. I don't think I'll be picking him up physically,
Right.
but spiritually I will be supporting, and that's what I want to do, is to be a lighthouse for my community, but also to be a child in this greater community, and to learn and to bring that knowledge back to my community and to bring that love, because that's what it is. It's
Mhm.
that agape love that the Christian faith talks about. It's that love of creator, and behind our sun, the great central sun, and so many things that I read now and that I speak out loud every morning on my altar that just resonate with me. And I can't deny that power in my life. I cannot accept any responsibility for things going properly in my life for the first time. And I at this point, I'm scared not to pray, right? Like, I'm scared to stop doing the things that have gotten me here, because
Mhm.
I just don't want this ride to end, Thomas. And I
Right.
know that for you, living right there in this very powerful place, that you must have much of the same feeling. I know that you were taking a group out today. Can you talk about, I'd never heard of the underwater. Can you talk about that a little bit, and just share a
Yeah.
little bit before I let you go today?
Yeah, the underwater serpent is a part, it's on the Serpent Mound property. It's like a 40-acre site, and it's on a stream 3 miles short of being a river called Brush Creek. Pardon me. And in the waterway, there's a huge rock that fell down off of this 80-foot prominence of dolomite, and it looks just like the head of a serpent. It's 25 feet long, weighs 150 tons. It's oriented towards summer solstice sunset, day of rebirth, just like the head of the serpent. And it's in a unique spot because it forms a perfect triangle between the big burial mound of the Adena elder, who was 8 foot 9 3/4 inches tall, by the way, and then the head of the serpent, 1,360 feet, and down to the big rock, 1,360, and back over to the big mound, 1,360. So it's some mathematical equation that's used in mound builder sites. They have no idea what it means, but it's there. It's really cool. So we go down there, and it's a nice place for water ceremonies because it's on Brush Creek, go all the way to the Ohio, to the Gulf of Mexico, if you will, to Mississippi Gulf. So all these mound builders, they use those river systems to build their calendars for their sun worship and their planting and harvesting. So they were farmers basically, but ancient farmers. So there's a lot of a mystery there. And what were they doing with the energy of the asteroid crater, being on a fault line of all things, and then having all these weird minerals around them? We've got cobalt, chromium, nickel, iridium, iron, and zinc, along with the host bedrock of dolomite and limestone. So we have, and it's on a grid. That's the interesting. That's another point. It's on the 40th parallel. So there's all these sacred sites along the 40th parallel doing the same thing. And you go like, what were these people doing? What did they know that we don't know? So that's the mystery.
Well, and that's why we visit and we hold ceremony and we share the knowledge that we do have and that has been given to us either from the stars or from ceremony previously, to remember. I don't think that we're learning as much as we are remembering the knowledge that's been stored in our DNA and is passed down through the generations. And that's exactly why I have to go. That's why Spirit is calling me there. My family regularly traveled. I grew up in the Black Hills of South Dakota. So I grew up in Deadwood, south of Deadwood, actually, in the mountains, and have always felt a deep spiritual connection to, obviously, Pahasapa, the Black Hills, and these places. And I just don't deny the calling. And I've I've always been someone who's very adept at manifesting. Unfortunately for me, I always manifested a lot of bad things into my life, Thomas. And now I'm trying to get better and better at manifesting the good things and in some ways having the freedom and the ability to travel to visit my star family at the Serpent Mound Star Knowledge Spring Equinox Peace Summit is a very big blessing. And I thank you and Terry so much for, I know it's a huge endeavor. I've thrown concerts my entire life for the last 25 years, and that's a very small scale. That's just me and 3 other guys showing up to play music. So
Sure.
to organize something of this magnitude, with these people coming from all over this planet, and some of them may be farther away, and to bless each other. And
Yeah.
I can't think of a better way to spend a weekend.
Well, that's all Terry's work. She sits there endlessly on a computer every day, year after year after year, inviting people in. And a lot of people just show up and say, "Hey, can I speak?" And throughout the year, and there are people that come into Serpent Mound. So it's interesting how all this is put together. And you can't plan it. It just
It
happens.
happens. Right.
It
And
does.
that's why, like I said, I didn't plan on going. I didn't plan on not going, but it was always, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, well, then it wasn't meant to. So a big thank you to you, Terry. I know you're on the phone and organizing and doing everything right now, but a bravo is in order. And I can't wait to see you all in just a week's time now. So,
Right.
Thomas, thank you for jumping on with me today on short notice. And I'm going to turn around and probably release this tomorrow to get it
Okay.
out there and to promote for the event. So,
Well, it's on the Facebook, so it's on the Star Knowledge Peace Summit page, and it's also on alternateuniverserockshop.com. So
okay,
you
and
can
that is
read
your
more about,
guys' rock shop then.
yes.
Alternate Universe. I
Yep.
should be able to remember that. Well, I thank you so much. We're going to have all the links to everything in here. Is there a cost involved with the event?
It's $44 a day. And what's the entire cost on that event? 88? It's 111 for all 3 days.
Go figure.
And we have an indigenous chef who brings in buffalo and all kinds of exotic foods, yummy foods, vegan foods, all different types of stuff. But they're chefs, and they know what they're doing. So we'll be fed good.
I'm just thrilled to know you all, and I can't wait to see my family and have a little reunion here on Serpent Mound. And it's in the Woodland Altars, you said, correct?
Yes, it's 3 miles north of the rock shop on State Route 41. Inside the
Fantastic.
asteroid crater.
Well, when I post this all tomorrow morning, I will have everything there and a great halo that's being made above your head with the light in the background there. So thank you very much, Thomas, for being part of the scene and for being a part of my life.
All right. Thanks for promoting this. Appreciate it.
It's an honor.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scene Projects Podcast Network. We appreciate you listening. You can find more at thesceneprojects.com. Join our community.